Hi everyone, I'm Todor, Lima Zulu 5 Alpha Echo. I've mentioned in my previous videos that I'm trying to master Morse code and especially the reception. Transmitting is relatively easy once you learn the alphabet, but listening by ear alone is challenging. When I became a radio amateur, CW was not in my sight at all. I found it so difficult and complicated that it only works for robots. Well, with time and practice, this great way of communication started to catch my attention, and I decided that its time had come. Learning the visual alphabet form is easy. The hard part is hearing and interpreting the symbols in the head. I started experimenting with different options. Listening to radio stations transmitting Morse code on short waves. A complete disaster. Most of them are so fast that they would just give me up. Listening to recordings with texts or cursors at lower speed also proved ineffective or at least difficult to manage. If the speed is too low, below 15 or 16 words per minute, I was just counting the dots and dashes, not memorizing the sounds, which is really the end goal. After a while, I discovered the Farnsworth method, where the symbols sound at one speed, but the spacing between them can be equated to another speed. That is, the pauses between each symbol could be longer to give me time to process and translate the symbol. The internet is full of computer or smartphone applications that can be used as exercise machines. I've tried quite a few, and now I'm going to show you the one I use most often. On my phone, mostly while I'm driving, and of course I'm alone in the car. Morse Mentor. There is a free version and paid version. The paid one is, as expected, ad-free and works on a locked phone. The free one is good enough to start with. The first thing we need to do after installation is to open the settings and set this and that. Tone frequency. My phone sounds best at 750 Hz. Everyone has to judge for themselves. The usual value is between 600 and 800 Hz. Words per minute speed. I started with 18 words per minute. I find this speed crisp enough to hear the symbols clearly without having to mentally count the dots and dashes. We should enable Farnsworth timing and choose some relatively low value to give us a time of about a second after each symbol. For example, 5 words per minute. With the passage of time and the acquisition of sounds, this value will be increased smoothly until one day it equals the rate of transmission of symbols. The first thing I started with was the letter lessons. It starts with one letter and goes through the entire alphabet. When the lesson starts, we have to enter every symbol we have heard. At the end, there is a summary of how we did and which symbols were more difficult for us to recognize. We can set the program to give us the difficult symbols more often. Even manually define a list of difficult ones. Numbers, special symbols, and abbreviations can also be added to the alphabet. When we are done with the alphabet, we can move to a more complex phase, practice with words and expressions. For example, the 1000 most common used words in the English language. We can even submit our text file that is in English, and the program will translate it for us and sing it in Morse. Most of the time, I don't fill in what I hear, I just listen and try to interpret the words in my mind while I'm driving or doing something else. That is how I do it. If you wish, share in the comments how you do it or recommend me something more efficient. I wish the best of luck to all who have taken the path of dots and dashes, and I hope this serves as a little inspiration for those who are still wondering whether to get involved in such an adventure. All the best from me, and I hope to hear you on the air soon.